This is all prefaced by I don't physically know for sure that anyone slept with 100 people or 1,000 people or 5,000 because I haven't watched. And I have no plans of ever corrupting my dear heart and mind and soul to seeing any of that. It's the line as a journalist I will not cross. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of The Comment Section. This OF star's most egregious event was her decision to break a world record of sleeping with 1,000 men in a 24-hour period. I just hate that I even have to say this.
I am dead inside.
I genuinely don't even know why this record was set in the first place. And no, she is not Lily, the girl I discussed several weeks ago on the show who had documented a similar journey of sleeping with 100 men. This woman, whose name is Tia, and that's how I'll be referring to her for this episode because that is her real name, she is a friend of Lily's who decided to beat her bestie to the record and apparently accomplished this feat back in January. While I wanted to call this out when it happened, I also didn't want to platform her and that video and unintentionally send wandering eyes that way. However, as of this week, OnlyFans has officially removed the video and banned it on their platform. Somehow, this horror show isn't even safe for the depths of hell known as OnlyFans. Imagine being too much of a hoe for OF. And Colin Rugg responded and said, "A new low has been reached. She sold her soul and had the proceeds taken. Make a deal with the devil, he never keeps up his end. Thou hast fornicated about, and thusly hast thou discovered." The old version of F around and find out. Someone else said, "I feel so bad for this chick. I mean, she is damaged goods in the extreme. So dark. Also, if you're one of these men involved, you are a trash human and a disgrace to your mothers." Modern feminism, burning down the patriarchy or something like that. And then it's just a picture of her holding her sign that she held up when she reached 1,000 men. Let's just get rid of OF, start teaching people how to have respect for themselves again. One Vice article talked a little bit more about what OnlyFans did, and they said, OF told the Daily Mail that its services are designed for creators who have completed our comprehensive onboarding process and choose to monetize their content. We do not allow a large number of non-OF creators to be featured on an account even where release forms have been provided. The statement went on to say that OF verifies the age, identity, and consent of all those featured. The last part is probably where the main issue lies. There is no way for OF to accurately confirm that 1,057 men are who they say they are. Exactly. And the thing is, neither could Tia. She's already dabbled in this weird, borderline illegal content where she went viral for hooking up with barely legal schoolies. As for this stunt, if any of those over 1,000 men turn out to be minors, she could be in massive trouble. Even OF knows that. If just one Joe Schmo lied about his age, that could make her a criminal. Not to mention that letting these random men into your bedroom is like going online without ExpressVPN. I mean, all it takes is one bad actor to get you in all sorts of trouble. It's important to have ExpressVPN because in today's connected world, we're constantly jumping between networks, grabbing coffee at our local cafe, working from hotels, or killing time in airports. But what you may not realize is that these convenient connections can be a playground for cybercriminals. When you browse on these unencrypted networks, your personal information, from passwords to banking details, is vulnerable to anyone with the right tools. That's why ExpressVPN has changed my online life completely. As someone who is always working online, I used to constantly worry about my online privacy. Oftentimes, I'll be on the go at some coffee shop using random Wi-Fi, and yet I have sensitive information on my computer. But with just one click, ExpressVPN encrypts my connection and I can work worry-free. Whether I'm working, streaming my favorite shows while traveling abroad, shopping online, or just browsing the web, ExpressVPN keeps my data secure and browsing private. The best part is that it works on all of my devices with lightning-fast speeds that never slow me down. I truly will not go on public Wi-Fi without turning ExpressVPN on anymore. Like I said, it's so simple to use that why would you not use it? So find out how you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description below, or going to expressvpn.com/Conrad. And then you will be safe from creepy predators on the internet. Can't say the same, though, about these ladies. These ladies or men, because I would argue she's the predator in this situation. The fact that there is even a belief that a man under the age of 18 did not get into this line of people is a crazy thing to bank on.
You just have to show an ID, that's it.
Apparently they were shown an ID, and then someone took a picture of them holding their ID. And then they had to sign some waiver. But again, fake ID? Ever heard of those? Like, they're very common.
Also, like that one kid who showed up with his mom
some kid showed up with his mom, and then his mom was like searching for him, being like, come on, son, get out of here. I mean, like, she didn't know what it was. They were in like a line of 1,000 men, and the mom's like, only to learn, like, once the son's in there with her, like, come back, son. I mean, like.
And like, if your son has to have his mother to bring him there, he can't be that old.
Again, she preys on the barely legal. So I bet a bunch of those young men were barely legal, if not legal, making her a criminal. Like,
and then also, like, I get it, the video is banned, but why isn't she taken off of OnlyFans altogether? Like, if it's
that bad, yeah, she should be totally off of OnlyFans. Now, of course, they don't want her off because she makes the money. And this publicity stunt alone has already gotten her enough subscribers to be fine, regardless if this is up. But it's still the premise of, like, she might have committed a crime. No one can confirm it or deny it, at least right now. But they're going to let her out. Just to assume that no one would have faked their age is crazy to me.
She definitely has to have assumed that. She just doesn't care.
That's the thing. That's the moral of this. She doesn't care. She gives 0 Fs in the worst of ways. All it takes is one person lying. Sure, she got waivers and the men had to show their ID and be photographed with it, but is that a fail-proof way of weeding out any minors that may have made their way into a queue of men waiting in some creepy mansion? Of course not. And this apparently did not take place in an Airbnb, perhaps because the last girl, who I talked about earlier, is now permanently banned from Airbnb after pulling off her stunt in a beautiful one in downtown London. Honestly, thank God. I was appalled to consider that I will ever go into an Airbnb again that ever had anything like this occur in it.
New fear unlocked.
Yeah, new fear unlocked, but I'm glad that Airbnb was also absolutely appalled by this. I mean, just imagine that you are an Airbnb host that has this beautiful townhome in London, and then your home goes viral for literally the most vile thing ever. These creators just don't care about anyone besides themselves. And greed and narcissism is a very dangerous cocktail. Not to mention, if a man ever even joked about doing something like this, let alone actively promoting the seeking of barely legal 18-year-old women on his social media to film a stunt like this, it would have never been allowed. Women's rights groups, parents, authorities would be in an uproar. But in this story, Tia's parents are her biggest supporters. I kid you not. Apparently, her mom is also her manager. Everything about this is appalling. There's not one redeeming fact about this. Gosh. This is a video where her and her mom were actually interviewed, but here's her mom talking about her daughter's career and why she loves it so much.
What was it like after cleaning up after bang?
Messy. Hundreds of condoms, boxer shorts, tops, stained bed sheets, wet bed sheets.
So even when you hear, that she slept with 158 guys in 2 weeks.
It's just part of a job and that's it.
So you don't have any kind of, emotional response to it?
At first I did, but not anymore.
Note how she said, at first I did, but not anymore. Why at first, Mom? Why at first were you probably appalled that your daughter was doing this? And then she started making money. And then suddenly the mom was okay with it.
I was gutted at first, I really was. It was shock, but it was just a shock because it's something I never thought she would do.
Why? Why did you never think she would do that? It's like you see the moment of humanity and sanity in the mother, and then it just like the dollar signs rise and mom's morals just gone.
What has achieved doing it in your eyes?
I'm going on a really nice holiday.
They're not even pretending. Like, they're just like, yeah, that's the money.
So her making all that money, how has it affected you?
We've had nice holidays and nice gifts, but that doesn't bother me. She's happy.
It doesn't bother her. She's not saying, like, that's not what's important, because I thought that's where she's going with it. And then she goes, that doesn't bother me. She can't even attempt to lie. Like, she's just being brutally honest.
But she's happy. She's safe, making lots of money.
Safe.
Is she safe? That is a wild generalization of, I would argue, extremely, extremely unsafe. Nothing about what she's doing is safe. I honestly thought when I first heard that her mom was her manager that the mom was a actress, that she was coming on these shows just to pretend because, again, that gets more clicks. But she does look like her. Like, I do think it's her mom. What could possibly be worse than a woman doing this? A mother being her manager. I mean, again, the story just gets worse and worse and worse. Bring back shame. She is reportedly earning over £600,000 a month by sleeping with barely legal teens. £600,000 a month. Like, how much money does it take to corrupt your soul? I mean, that's the question. Someone else said she needs Jesus. I kept seeing so many people talk about how we need to bring back shame, but really we need to bring back God into our society, because through that, people will feel conviction. And that will bring change to actions and also change to people's hearts. But since God is increasingly being removed from the West, though I'm appalled, I am not surprised by the degeneracy that the godless void has created. Things like greed and lust are all prevalent and thriving in a society with no God to guide and convict them. And if you don't think that God can change the hearts of even the wickedness like this young woman is presenting, just watch Michael Knowles' latest video with Nala Ray. She is the former porn star who radically transformed her life after coming to Christ. It is a wild story. It is so cool to see, and it proves that redemption is possible. And while I am disgusted, to say the least, by the actions of a woman like Tia, I think it is a horrific manifestation of a much larger societal problem. And I begrudgingly decided to talk about this woman because as an influencer, she was already creating copycats and inspiring more young women. When prostitutes are admired by a young generation, that group is in deep trouble mentally. Lily, the girl from earlier, was actually inspired by Tia to engage in the acts with 100 men. Then this week, a story came out about a woman in Turkey who also followed her idea and got arrested for it. Model arrested in Turkey after vowing to sleep with 100 men in one day. Her post to her 231,000 fans was quickly discovered by the Istanbul Public Security Branch Directorate's Morality Bureau, the outlet reported. Officials called her plans obscene and damaging to national morale. These women are not your average porn stars that no one knows about except for those on the dark web. They are now on TikTok and Instagram alongside your daughters and your nieces, and their influence should not be underestimated. They are glamorizing a successful boss woman type of lifestyle that attracts many young women to places like OF as an easy way to earn insane amounts of money. But the true price of that life is certainly not what they advertise, or perhaps even fully known to them yet. But instead, in this episode, I wanted to offer up a different kind of influencer that I follow. She literally looks and sounds wildly similar to a mix of Lily and Tia, but she is a vastly different kind of woman. When I was writing this episode, I was on Instagram and I was looking at her content just because I love her, and then I realized she is the stark polar opposite to these women. They literally look like twins. It is crazy. Her name is Amy Smale, and she is also a UK-based creator who founded a fashion company during 2020 that I have since become obsessed with. Now, she is my age, 27, and her company has exploded in just a few years. One of her first items made her over 100,000 pounds within the first 3 months of launching her brand, which is crazy. Let me be very clear. This woman has nothing to do with the women I talked about earlier. Two different women. Nothing to do with each other. I am simply calling her out because I wanted to highlight a different kind of woman. Here are just a few videos from her account because I want to very clearly demonstrate the opposite type of influencer that young women should be following. Young boss women who want that career lifestyle. The video says, 2020, Mom, I'm going to quit my job and try to start a clothing brand. If it doesn't work out, I'll get another job. 2024, Odd Muse London opens a store in Soho, Manhattan. That's such an insane flex. 4 years. Goes from nothing to a freaking store in Soho. That is so cool. So inspiring. This is why I love to follow her, because I think that is so badass. Again, the right kind of woman to follow who is encouraging in the boss babe world. Here's another video that she posted about her dad. He apparently called into some radio show in the morning to brag about his daughter.
My youngest daughter that did go to university, she come out of university with a degree in fashion and started working for a well-known online firm.
Right.
But during lockdown, she didn't want to do it, so she started her own business, Nick. And with the way that she was able to communicate with people, the way that she done in university, in 3 years, the business is now grossing over $5.5 million a year.
What the flip? How many people is she employing?
She employs about 35 people now, Nick.
Any amount of money that she makes in a job like this is like started from nothing and is making money an honest and good and powerful way. Like, will she make as much money as those OnlyFans creators? Probably not. Maybe. I mean, she's crushing it. But she'll leave with her dignity at the end of the day. The fact that it happened that she started this business during the pandemic, which is when these girls started their OF businesses, you know, because they don't have nothing to do. They don't know what to do. Like, the excuse that you could use to start an OnlyFans is also the same excuse that this girl used to start a freaking incredible company. So don't play like, it's 2020, don't know what to do, have to make money somehow. Like, there are other ways to make money, ladies and men, everyone. These girls are all similar in age. They live in the same city, similar educations, but two vastly different career paths. And only one path I would even really deem a career. I mean, both even started with relatively limited resources, using tools like TikTok and Instagram to grow their brands. Amy said she launched her fashion brand from her bedroom, while the other woman filmed God knows what in hers. And Amy is flourishing and inspiring young women around the world, myself very much included in that. And then you have the likes of Tia, influencing other young women around the world that lead to their arrests. One is a path of light. The other is a path that ends in darkness. And don't let social media fool you otherwise. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thanks so much and have a great day.